Hi there, Janet Fritz here for Galaxy Girl Creations, and welcome to Off the Board for October 2020. And I am combining that with Christy's Beautiful Life and her 30 Days of Sketches series. I seem to be doing the even days for the most part. This is the sketch we're using from Inspired Blueprints, and I'm pairing it up with that mood board from Pinterest. And that is what this challenge is all about, or this series is all about, is using our pins and using them for inspiration and making a layout out of whatever we are inspired by. And this month we all chose to do something that was wine related, and I happen to have some photos of some friends of ours, of my husband and I with some friends of ours at a winery. And this is not something I do very often. I'm not a big wine drinker, and if I do drink wine, it's got to be like super fruity and sweet and not dry. And so yeah, that's kind of like my thing. If I'm going to drink wine, it doesn't happen very often. So it was kind of fun to go with them on this particular outing and check it out and see what they had at this winery. We took a tray of food to eat, and they had some live music playing, and this was all pre-COVID. This was like in 2018. So yeah, I didn't have to worry about masks or anything back then, so it was a beautiful day and we really enjoyed it. I wanted to go ahead and bring in the wine colors because in that mood board there were several wine colors. It was mostly wine colors, actually. It had some teal in it as well, but it had this burgundy and that lighter pink color. And so I wanted to go ahead and bring those colors in. So I'm using my scallop punch that I love so much. It's like my favorite scallop punch. All of my other ones are super tiny, but this one has a nice size scallop on it. So that's why I'm using this particular punch. And in case you're interested, it is by X-Cut or Do Crafts. Do Crafts owns X-Cut, or vice versa. I'm not sure which. But if you look up X-Cut Do Crafts large scallop punch, that's the one. I also pulled out this stencil from Art Anthology. It's in a 6x9 size, and it is called Coffee Circles or Coffee something. It does say coffee on it. So I don't know if it's just coffee, but it's I think it's called Coffee Circles. And I've just sprayed some of my Nuvo Shimmer Mist or Shimmer Spray, Sparkle Spray. Sparkle Spray, I think is what it's called, into that little cup there. And I'm using my dauber, and I'm just going to go ahead and pick up some of that ink and squish it through the stencil because I want this layout to look like it's got some stains from a wine glass, and maybe a wine glass and a coffee cup aren't the same diameter at the bottom. I'm not really sure of that because I've never measured. But anyway, you get the idea that there has been a cup sat on this paper, and that is kind of the look I was going for. I also really wanted to use this stencil because it is somewhat new to me and I wanted to try it out. So I thought it would be like the perfect layout for it because I am talking about wine, and that spray is wine colored, although it does have a silver shimmer to it. So I find that putting it through a stencil with the dauber works really well, and you can just go and rinse out that little foam pad and you're ready to use it for whatever your next project is once it dries. I also decided I wanted my photos offset, one a little higher than the other. Normally I would keep them straight across the page, but I just did a layout like that on Monday, and that's also on my channel. You can check that out if you're interested. But I decided I wanted it a little offset, and it would change up the embellishing a little bit. And then with my leftover sparkle spray, I am just inking around the wood grain, and I really like the wood grain. It looks really good with this particular layout, and I think that's because in the photos, or at least one or two of the photos, there are wine barrels and it's kind of rustic looking in certain areas, And this winery is called Big Dog Winery, and you can see in the very first photo there my husband is giving the dog some water, and that is the dog that lives there. He's a Great Dane. So yeah, it was fun. It was a fun day, and it's interesting that the dog just kind of roams the property and hangs out with the visitors. He's really gentle. I actually don't know if it was a he or a she, but yeah, it's this super gentle dog, and my husband was just giving him some water out of a cup. As you just saw there, I inked the edge of my papers with that same spray, and what I was doing there was I was just smooshing some of it onto a piece of white paper because I need to punch a circle to put on the top of the lid so that you actually can see the color when you go and choose it for when it's on the top of the bottle. My goodness, speak some words, lady. Okay, so I went to their particular website and I created a cut file out of their logo, and so that is their logo right there that you see, or their title for their vineyard. That's what's on their website. So I went ahead and used that. I thought that would be a good idea just because I didn't want to use my thickers for this. I wanted to kind of make it a little more personal to, not necessarily to me, but to the vineyard that we were at. I wanted to kind of bring in some of what it looked like there, basically. The feel of the vineyard, I guess, is the best way to describe it. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and use the paper that it was all cut out of as my placement, or to give me the placement for my letters, and I like how that looks. I did cut 2 layers, as you see there. The thinner layer is in the pink paper from Chamel, and it's just on that black, and I like how it looks. I'm really happy with the way things are going right now. And let me tell you a little bit about Off the Board. We do this series the last Wednesday of every month, and again, we use our Pinterest boards for inspiration and create a layout out of it. This month we all chose to do stuff that was wine related, but that is not the case every month. There's not always a theme. Usually you just pick whatever pin is inspiring you at the time, and you make your layout based on that. So it's really interesting and really fun because sometimes people don't even choose stuff that's related to scrapbooking. There's been, like, I've used walkways or pathways in a garden. Crystal, who actually started this series, has used stuff like kitchens and architecture, so there's all kinds of crazy cool things going on. So I highly recommend you check it out. Everybody's links are down below in my description box. So I have fussy cut a bunch of these florals out of one of Chamel's papers from Head in the Clouds, and I like how they're looking. I like that there's a butterfly. It brings in more of those purples. And I am popping some of it up onto fun foam so there's added dimension. And then and my fun foam looks like it's in strips. It's actually just the fun foam from Walmart, and I cut it into long strips like that because I feel like it's a little bit more manageable. You don't have a big old chunk of it. I actually do have full sheets of it still in case I do want a big chunk of it, but most of the time you just want a little strip of it, and that's why I cut it like that. And I keep a little stash of that just next to my desk, and I can pick it up and use it as frequently as I need to. I like the little butterflies that are attached. I also like the little white flowers nestled in. I went ahead and cut those from another sheet of Chamel's paper. So these are actually from 3 different sheets of paper. And just kind of tucking them in and getting them placed so that they look somewhat natural, but so that there is a little bit mix of color throughout each of those clusters. I will also be going through my color bins, and so what happens is I usually get packages of ephemera or stickers, and I use them to some extent. And once I feel like they are running low, or I've used the main pieces that I wanted to use, I will cut them up. I will cut up the sticker sheets and the ephemera. I will sort, and I sort them into these little black boxes by color. So I've gone through those. You see at the top of my desk there, I've got all kinds of the aqua or turquoise, all kinds of pink, and some purple and blue. And that is allowing me to pull in or figure out what other embellishments I want to use. I also fussy cut some of these darker wine colored leaves off of one of Chamel's papers, and these are all from Head in the Clouds, and I'm just tucking those in to add some leaves to this, the two clusters. I also cut some green ones to bring in a little bit more of the greenery, and you caught a glimpse there of the paper that has the little pink flowers and the greenery. Yeah, I'm just tucking those in, giving them some leaves, spreading out the colors a little bit here and there. And then I'm going to go through all of that ephemera, and I don't even use hardly any of it, which is really kind of funny. I pulled out a ton of it. You can kind of see the piles there at the top of the screen, but I don't use hardly any of it. I end up going in a different direction. Off to the right there, you can see that I have some chipboard pieces, and they're like little banner pieces. That's what I end up using, and I really like how it looks. And those pieces have been in my stash probably for, I don't know, maybe 10 years. And it feels so good to get them out of my stash. I cannot even tell you how happy it made me to use them. Okay, I'm just about finished with these flowers, and now I'm going to move on to something different, I hope. Let's see here. Yes, I'm moving on to something different. I'm going to move on to these banner pieces. I know I want to use them because in the sketch there is a banner at the top, but the banner is hanging over the photo, and I don't want any of those banner pieces hanging over my photos because I don't have a lot of space in the photos that can be covered. Sometimes there are photos that have like a lot of sky in them, or a lot of, I don't know, wasted space at the top or at the bottom, like grass or whatever. But these ones don't have that. So I knew I couldn't put my banner up there, so I'm putting it below the photos, and then I'm going to put a little short banner on the left-hand page in the upper left-hand corner to kind of tie the two together and to kind of balance it out. So my banner on the right is going to be much larger than my banner on the left, and I'm happy with that. I like the way it works. I am going to pop those banner pieces up onto some foam, but this foam is much thinner foam than the fun foam, and it is super sticky. I have a friend that has a big old roll of it, and she just cut off a big section of it for me. And it has it's adhesive on both sides, so you have to peel it, and it's a pain in the butt to peel it because it's hard to get your fingers on these little tiny clear pieces. But it works because I didn't want to make these banner pieces much thicker than they were because they are already chipboard, so they're already thick. But I am going to pop them up onto that, and that is going to allow a little bit of room at the top of each banner piece for me to tuck that baker's twine under. So my foam doesn't go all the way to the top of each of those banner pieces, it's just kind of in the bottom 3/4 of it, and that allows me to kind of arrange it how I want, and the string can just be stuck to the banner piece because they are quite sticky actually themselves, and I don't have to worry about gluing it or anything like that. I tie a knot in the end of my string, and then I just used my tiny attacher to attach it to my layout, and that works out for me. And then the other end is going to be longer. It's going to have a loop in it and kind of dangle off. I like how that looks, and I will do the same with the one in the upper left hand corner. I am going to use that little piece that is sticking right underneath the photos there. I will put it underneath the group photo just to have a little added something. And then I'm not going to add a whole lot to the top of these banner pieces. You can see I just tried to pull that blue one up, but that foam that it is attached to is, like I said, super sticky, and there's no way it's coming up without ripping the paper. So since my sign attacher won't reach all the way in, I had to open it up and put a mouse pad underneath it, and then just push down to get the staple to go through, and then I bend the prongs back on the back side. So it does pay to have a stapler that reaches, but in this case, this is how you kind of finagle it so that you don't have to worry about it. I guess another option was I could have lifted up the scalloped paper there and just stapled it to that, but I didn't. I guess I didn't really think about doing that. And the mouse pad trick works just as well. I am going to add some turquoise puffy stickers to each of the areas. They're little tiny puffy hearts, and you're going to see that coming up in just a few moments. And I am also going to add one of those little purple flowers to one of the banner pieces on each side, and that's pretty much going to take us to the end of the layout. So if you have any questions or comments, you can leave those down in the comments down below, and I will get back to you as quickly as I can. And thank you so much for watching today. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Again, check out all of the other ladies that are playing along. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention I did tuck in a little tiny heart tab on each of those floral embellishment clusters, just to have another little added detail that's super cute. Again, thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I will see you guys next time. The close-ups are coming up in just a moment, so stick around for that. And if you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe if you would. I would really appreciate it. Have a great day. See you next time. Bye.